Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome in to Wisdom Wednesday. Looking forward to today's episode. Last week we were in the book Walk Courageously with God. We gained some insight and some wisdom from the experience of Noah and how courageous he was. But today we're back in the lessons you can learn from the Bible book. Looking forward to today's topic. We will be getting into the introduction of section six, and then also looking ahead to the 29th lesson in this book. So stay tuned. Again, welcome into Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you to my sponsor, Sugarcane Sweet Shop in Riverside. Daily verse coming here shortly, and then we'll be getting into the lessons you can learn from the Bible book. So stay tuned. Really looking forward to this wonderful lesson and appreciate how Jehovah really does chooses his servants. Daily verse for the date of February 4th, 2026 derives from the book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 15, and it states as follows. And I have hope toward God, which hope these men also look forward to, that there is going to be a resurrection of both the righteous and the unrighteous. Amen. And again, that's from the book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 15. And that's one of my favorite scriptures, right? This was an account of Paul speaking during his journey, right? During his journey, Paul was speaking about the things that hope, right? Having hope toward God, which also these men have, right? They look forward to the resurrection of both the righteous and the unrighteous. Paul knew that the resurrection will take place, and our loved ones will have the opportunity to live again. And when we see death, we'll have the opportunity to live again as well. So, looking forward to that wonderful promise given by Jehovah God. So let's get into section six of the lessons you can learn from the Bible book. When the Israelites finally reached the promised land, the tabernacle became the center of true worship there. Priests taught the law, and judges guided the nation. This section illustrates the profound impact that a person's decisions and actions can have on others. Each Israelite had a personal responsibility toward Jehovah and his fellow man. Highlight the influence that Deborah's, Naomi, Joshua, Hannah, Jephthah's daughter, and Samuel had on their communities. Emphasize that even some non-Israelites, such as Rahab, Ruth, Jael, and the Gibeonites, decided to side with the Israelites because they knew that God was with them. So, again, just as it was pointed here, we're going to be learning about some wonderful individuals, right? Some individuals that we will most likely encounter again when we get back into the Walk Courageously with God book, right? The Naomis, right? The Ruths, these type of individuals, right? The Hannahs, the Rahabs, right? All these type of individuals that had to stand courageously in the face and face different circumstances, and just trust that, hey, I see that Jehovah is real, that he's with the Israelites. Well, let me see if I serve him, will he be with me as well? So a wonderful section here. As we get into it, we have about um 6 or 7 lessons in this section. Looking forward to, actually we got about 8 or 9 actually when I went through it. But looking forward to it. So stay tuned and let's get into lesson 29, how we see how Jehovah chose Joshua. After leading the nation of Israel for many years, Moses was near the end of his life. Jehovah told him, "You are not the one who will bring the Israelites into the promised land, but I will let you see the land." Moses then asked Jehovah to choose a new leader to take care of the people. Jehovah said to him, "Go to Joshua and tell him that he is the one." Moses told the nation that he would die soon and that Jehovah had chosen Joshua as the one to lead them into the promised land. Moses then said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid. Jehovah will help you." Soon after that, Moses went to the top of Mount Nebo, where Jehovah showed him the land that he had promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses was 120 years old when he died. Jehovah told Joshua, "Cross the Jordan River and go into Canaan. I will help you just as I had helped Moses." Make sure that you read my law every day. Do not be afraid. Be brave. Go and do what I have commanded you to do. Joshua sent two spies to the city of Jericho. In the next story, we will learn more about what happened there. When they returned, they reported that it was a good time to go into Canaan. The next day, Joshua told the nation to pack up the camp. Then he sent the priests who were carrying the Ark of the Covenant on ahead to the Jordan River. The river was flooding, but as soon as the feet of the priests touched the water, the river stopped flowing and the water drained away. The priests walked to the middle of the riverbed and stood there while the whole nation of Israel crossed to the other side. Do you think that this miracle reminded them of what Jehovah had done at the Red Sea? Finally, after all those years, the Israelites were in the promised land. They could build houses and cities. They could plant fields, vineyards, and orchards. It was a land flowing with milk and honey. If you've been waiting for the right moment to share your story, your ideas, or your God-given voice with the world, this is it. Riverside is the all-in-one studio built for creators who want professional-grade production, effortless publishing, and a smooth, stress-free recording experience. Whether you're launching a podcast, recording interviews, or creating video content, Riverside gives you everything you need to sound and look like a pro, even from home. So, if you've been thinking about starting a podcast, leveling up your content, or finally stepping into the calling on your life, Riverside is where you begin. Use my link to sign up and start creating with clarity, confidence, and excellence. Your voice matters, and Riverside helps you share it with the world. So again, Jehovah chose Joshua. Well, that's our first question, right? Who led the Israelites after Moses died? Joshua. Some things I really appreciated from Jehovah, right? He gave plenty reassurance to Joshua, right? Think about Joshua. This is a man who has been a follower his whole life, right? Not a sense of where he could not be a leader, because obviously Jehovah saw him and saw that he could lead his people. But Joshua was a person who was following, right? He was following Moses. He was following the law. He was doing all these type of things uh, to, eventually be put in position to be a leader. And that's what Jehovah saw in his heart. He saw that Joshua was obedient, and he saw that if Joshua was being obedient to Jehovah through the leadership of Moses, he knew that Joshua would be obedient, being led directly by Jehovah. So that was awesome. I really appreciated those assurances from Jehovah. Also, he told him, he said, do not be afraid, right? This is what Moses told Joshua: do not be afraid. Jehovah will help you. How much confidence do you think Joshua had when Moses told him that? Coming from a man who had been helping Moses this whole time, right? Jehovah had been helping Moses, and Joshua knew that, because Moses was letting him know that this is Jehovah's doing. I'm just a representation, uh, a person who was selected by Jehovah to lead and represent him in this present time. So Joshua had knew that Jehovah would help him. He truly took that and held it dear to his heart. But when Jehovah was speaking to Joshua, what did he tell him to do? Right? He gave him instructions of what to do, right? Lead the people into that promised land. And again, Jehovah reassured Joshua, I will help you just as I had helped Moses. Right? But what did he tell him? You have to do your part also. Make sure that you read my law every day. Right? When we want Jehovah's help, when we want to know that he's with us, that he's by us, how do we find that confidence? How do we strengthen our hope? How do we strengthen our faith? By reading his word each and every day, right? By retaining those Bible principles given to us by Jesus Christ, right? Remembering the laws of the Hebrew laws that were, I ain't gonna say null and void, but they were simplified in the principles guided and directed and given by Jesus Christ. So we have to make sure we are reading Jehovah God's word each and every day in undertone, day and night, just as it is in the scriptures. Excuse me, right? Jehovah reassured him. He said, "Do not be afraid. Be brave. Go and do what I have commanded you to do." And we know that when we don't have fear because we're relying on Jehovah, when we stand up and face adversity because we're relying on Jehovah, and we go and do what he tells us to do, we have success, right? So Joshua went ahead and did exactly what Jehovah had told him to do. But also, right, I appreciated the account of the priest with the Ark of the Covenant, right? Jehovah, just as in the Red Sea, when Moses had to go and do, right? He had to act accordingly to complete something, right? He had to go out and stretch his hand over the sea, right? Go out and stretch his hand over the sea, and then Jehovah would part it at the Red Sea. Just as these priests here, when they came to the Jordan River, they had to go out and put their feet in the water in the river that was overflowing, that was flooded. They had to go out and put their feet in that river, and then what happened? The river stopped flowing. Right, the Israelites had a safe passage, just as Jehovah had blessed them with a safe passage into the promised land. Right, I mean, as through the Red Sea. And that's the same what Jehovah God is going to do for us when it's our time to go and embark on that journey of leaving this system and walking into the paradise world. Jehovah is going to make our journey there safe as well. He's going to make our transition smooth. Right, we can rely on Him to be able to do that, to take care of us, to give us courage, to give us the strength. Are you enjoying today's episode? This episode of the Grateful Gab Podcast is proudly sponsored by Sugarcane Sweet Shop. At Sugarcane Sweet Shop, every dessert is made with love, creativity, and a sprinkle of sweetness. From the signature cookies and cupcakes to custom cakes for every occasion, Sugarcane is available to make your moments a little more special. Follow them on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Sugarcane Sweet Shop to see what's fresh from the oven. And don't forget to treat yourself today. But we have to act accordingly. We have to do so that we may receive those blessings from Jehovah. And also some wonderful things that uh, are are being painted here in this lesson as well of when those Israelites finally reach that promised land, right? The same way for us, when we finally reach that paradise world, we'll be able to build our houses that we'll get to live in forever, and that they won't be for anybody else, right? We'll be able to plant fields and vineyards and orchards, and it will truly be a land flowing with milk and honey, right? A land flowing with peace and paradise, prosperity, right? Health, life, right? All those wonderful things that Jehovah promises in His perfect world, pain free, no sickness, right? No death, none of those type of things. So, I really love these accounts. I really appreciate how, Jehovah was really like, no, he was there in these individuals' lives, but he was setting us up for uh constant reminders of the things that he's promised, and the promises he's already kept, and the promises that are yet to come, they will be fulfilled. So looking forward to it. Hope y'all have been enjoying these lessons. I know a lot of y'all have probably kept going on and reviewing these lessons with your family, and I've been enjoying doing it as well. So please continue to pull back up here on Wisdom Wednesdays. I'm looking forward to the continued growth and the information that we receive from Jehovah God, through the means of the faithful and discreet slave, through the means of his word, the truth, the Bible, and He'll continue to help us be wise, because as long as we try to acquire the thinking of Jehovah God, we're going to make better decisions, and knowing how He thinks, we find it in the Bible, in His word. So stay there, stick to it, just as He told Joshua. Read it every day and night. Read it every day, and we'll have success just as Joshua did. So be blessed, and until next time, peace.